Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What's your marathon PR or your half marathon time? And when was the last time you actually improved it? Not just ran the same race a little better, not shaved off 30 seconds on a good day, but genuinely broke through a wall and ran at a level you hadn't touched before? If you're struggling to answer that, keep watching. Because today we're talking about something that will either completely change how you train or make you realize why you've been spinning your wheels for longer than you want to admit. And if you've been following this series, you already know the difference between running and actually evolving as a runner. This is that next step. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. This series goes places most running channels are too cautious to go. Here's what this episode is about. A man named Sebastian Sawe just reminded the entire running world what human potential actually looks like. And not in some abstract, poetic way. In a very real, very measurable, very brutal way. We're talking about the sub-2 hour marathon barrier. The one that Eliud Kipchoge almost literally died chasing. The one that defined a generation of elite running. And now, a Kenyan runner named Sebastian Sawe has entered the conversation so fast, so quietly, that most recreational runners haven't even heard his name yet. By the end of this video, you'll not only know who he is, you'll understand why his story matters to you personally, even if you're just trying to break 4 hours. Drop a comment below. What's your current marathon goal? I want to know where you're starting from. Let's talk about the real problem first. Most runners, and I mean most, probably including you, have a deeply distorted relationship with what fast actually means. You watch the elites on race day coverage, you see them float through 26.2 miles like it's a Tuesday jog, and somewhere in your brain you file that away as a completely separate universe, something that has nothing to do with you. And that mental separation, that's the first thing killing your progress. Because when you stop looking at elite performance as a reference point, you also stop understanding the principles behind it. And those principles, the ones that take someone like Sebastian Sawe from promising talent to sub-2 Pro 3 marathon territory, are the exact same principles that will take you from stuck to improving. The scale is different. The physics are the same. Now, Sebastian Sawe isn't a household name yet, at least not in American running circles, but pay attention. This guy ran a 2:02 at the Tokyo Marathon in 2024, making him one of the fastest marathoners in history at that point. He's been climbing the world rankings with a quiet, relentless consistency that should make every recreational runner take notes. And here's what makes him genuinely interesting beyond the numbers. His training philosophy, the way his coaches have structured his development, the patience involved. None of it is magic. It's methodical. It's almost boring in how logical it is. But here's what nobody really tells you. Boring and logical is exactly what works. The exciting, flashy stuff is usually what keeps you injured and undertrained. Stop. Think about what that means for you. You've probably tried the exciting stuff, the interval program that promised breakthrough results in 6 weeks, the shoe with the magic carbon plate that was going to suddenly make you a different runner, the YouTube workout that had you doing 6 different drills before you even warmed up properly. And how did that go? Be honest with yourself. Here's the reality check nobody wants to deliver. The gap between where you are and where Sebastian Sawe is running isn't primarily a genetic gap. I know that's what you want to believe. I know it's more comfortable to say, well, he's Kenyan. He was born at altitude. His body just processes oxygen differently. And sure, there are physiological differences at play at the very elite level. But the reason you specifically aren't improving has almost nothing to do with genetics and everything to do with the quality of your training decisions over time. The consistency, the patience, the willingness to run slow when your ego wants to run fast, that's the actual gap. And it's closable. Now tell me, have you done this before? Have you gone out for what was supposed to be an easy run and turned it into a tempo effort because you felt good that day? Have you skipped a recovery week because you didn't want to lose fitness? Have you added mileage too fast because someone on a running forum said they hit a new PR after ramping up to 70 miles a week? Of course you have. We all have. That's not a personal failing. It's what happens when you don't have a clear framework for understanding how elite training actually works. Here's the thing about runners like Sawe, about the entire Kenyan distance running tradition that produces these world record chasers. They run easy miles, extraordinarily easy. We're talking conversational pace on days that most American recreational runners would turn into tempo runs out of sheer competitive instinct. And then, on the days that are supposed to be hard, they go absolutely all in. There's no in between, there's no moderate hard, there's easy, and there's hard. That polarization of training intensity is one of the most well-documented patterns in elite endurance sports, and it's almost universally ignored by recreational runners. Why? Because running easy feels like wasting time. Because your ego is doing math it has no business doing. Let's talk about the excuses now, because I know exactly what some of you are thinking. That's fine for elites. They have coaches, altitude camps, full-time recovery support. True. I have a job, kids. Stress. I can't train like a professional. Also true. But here's the thing. Nobody is asking you to train like a professional. What I'm asking you to do is apply the same principles at your scale. Running your easy days actually easy doesn't require a Kenyan altitude camp. It requires discipline and a willingness to look a little slow in front of other people on the trail. That's it. But I've been running for years. I know my body. Oh, this one. This is the excuse that has ended more running plateaus before they even started. You've been running for years the same way. You've been making the same mistakes for years. Experience doesn't automatically equal wisdom. Experience plus reflection equals wisdom. If your times haven't improved in 2 years, your experience is not teaching you what you think it's teaching you. I already do speed work. Do you though? Do you actually structure it with intention? The right distances? The right recovery intervals? The right frequency relative to your easy mileage? Or do you just go to the track every couple weeks, run some fast laps until you feel like you've worked hard and call it speed work? Because those are two completely different things. And the second one is basically just making you tired without making you faster. There's just one detail that changes everything here, and it's this. Elite marathoners like Sebastian Sawe are chasing sub-2 hours not because they found some secret workout nobody else knows about. They're chasing it because their entire training architecture is designed around one goal, executed with complete discipline over years and years and years. The sub-2 attempt, if Sawe goes for it, will be the result of hundreds of thousands of easy miles, thousands of calculated hard efforts, meticulous recovery, and coaches who understand the long game in a way most recreational runners have never experienced. The sub-2 barrier isn't falling because someone found a shortcut. It's going to fall because someone was patient enough to take the long road. So what does this actually mean for your training? Here's the real solution, and it's not complicated. It's just hard to follow because it requires your ego to sit down and be quiet. First, slow down your easy runs. Not a little, a lot. If you wear a heart rate monitor, keep it under 75% of your max on every run you're not specifically designating as a workout. If you don't use heart rate, run at a pace where you could hold a full conversation without losing your breath. If you're breathing hard, you're not running easy. You're running moderate, which is the worst zone you can be in. Too hard to recover well, too easy to produce real fitness adaptations. Second, when you do run hard, run actually hard. Commit to it. Stop holding back 10% because you're worried about how you'll feel tomorrow. Your body adapts to the stresses you impose on it. Comfortable hard efforts produce comfortable adaptations. Real hard efforts produce real changes. Third, trust the slow process. Sebastian Sawe didn't become one of the fastest marathoners in history in one training cycle. He didn't go from promising junior to elite in a single year. His development followed a trajectory that most people would have abandoned long before seeing results. But here's what nobody really tells you about that kind of patience. It compounds. The easy miles you put in now aren't just fitness. They're building the aerobic foundation that makes every future hard workout more effective. Every session connects to the next one. Every week builds on the last. That's not motivational. Poster language. That's exercise, physiology. Be honest with yourself about where you've been cutting corners. Not because I want you to feel bad about it, because identifying the corners is the only way to stop cutting them. And here's where I want to leave you today. Sebastian Sawe, chasing the sub-2 hour marathon, is one of the most exciting things happening in distance running right now. But what makes it meaningful beyond the spectacle is what it represents. The absolute outer limit of human potential when training, genetics, environment, and mindset all align perfectly. Most of us will never run a sub-2 marathon. Most of us will never run a sub-3 marathon, but every single one of us has a version of that wall. The time we've been trying to break, the distance we've been afraid to tackle, the pace that feels just out of reach, and the principles that have Sawe closing in on 2 hours are the exact same ones that will help you break yours. The scale is different. The physics are the same. Stop running your easy runs hard. Start running your hard runs hard. Trust the process even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because something is always happening. You just can't feel it yet. Now, I have to tell you about the next video because if you skip it, I genuinely think you'll regret it. We've been building this whole series toward a concept that basically every recreational runner has heard of, most claim to do, and almost nobody actually understands correctly. Zone 2, training. You've seen it everywhere. Low heart rate, fat burning, aerobic base. The buzzwords are all over social media. But here's what nobody really tells you about Zone 2. There's a massive, uncomfortable truth hiding inside all that hype. A truth about the kind of mental resistance it creates, why most runners quit it before it works, and why the people who stick with it end up running times they never thought possible. The next episode is called Does Zone 2 Really Work? The truth about resistance that nobody tells you. And I promise you, it's going to challenge something you think you already understand. Don't miss it. If this video hit differently than you expected, subscribe. This series isn't going anywhere easy, and drop a comment below. What's the one training habit you know you need to change but keep avoiding? Let's talk about it.